Greetings, welcome to this tutorial on a little more uh, advanced version or different kind of version of using uh, layer masks. In a previous video that I did, I believe the layer mask that I had created was for an adjustment layer, like changing color of something, desaturating, making black and white. Um, Layer masks can be used for so much more in the Photoshop world. And here to demonstrate that, I'm going to take two pictures. Here I've got a family picture of yours truly, and then we're going to take the head off of one and put it on the other. And so, as you can see here, we've got two. I've color corrected them for the most part. I'm going to select both of these. I'm going to open them up in Camera Raw. This is where if you need to make any adjustments to where they both look very similar, that would help. So you don't have, one white balance is way off and the other one is way on. And so, and they're both out of whack. So what I do is I'm going to select all both of these and go into Open Images, push them over to Photoshop. And once in Photoshop, wait for the raw file to load, basically we'll see two tabs at the top, one picture, one the other. All we're going to do is using simple selection tools. We're going to grab one element out of one picture and we're going to place it in the next. And by doing such, we're going to turn that element that we borrow from one picture into a layer mask. And you'll see the benefits of why you would do that. It's really a pretty simple technique. Let's see, I don't need this one. Alright, so here we've got a family picture. I really like everyone's expression in here except for this. And so, not her best pose. However, this one's killer. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a selection and we'll use the polygonal lasso tool. It doesn't really matter on the feathering on this necessarily. You can have it set to 0 and all that does is help fade your edge. You can take a very large sample. Having this set up on a tripod, or tripod rather, certainly helps matters a little bit more. I'm going to grab elements of her shirt. And a little sub lesson here, sub lesson being an additional part that you might not have known. If you hold the shift key while you've got a selection in here, I get this little plus sign and I'm going to simply add this part to that selection. And so there we go. I'm going to do a copy or Command C on the keyboard and then Command V will paste it. And so, oops, escape. V key to move. So we're going to take a look. Our proportions are similar. All I really need to do is drag this over the top. Line it up a little bit. And darn near on. Now here's where there's a couple elements in here that are not quite right. Hair's off right here. And then if I move around, you can see a little bit of edge in this. And notice right in here. Oh gosh, you can't even notice. Look at that. It wasn't even in there. That's what blending does for you. Outstanding. We're still going to use a layer mask though. Kind of inspect our element here. And my shoulder actually blends pretty nicely. It sometimes doesn't always work out that way. A little bit of blur in here. I don't think anyone would ever really notice. Usually the artist notices or the person doing this notices because they're the one that did that to the picture. And so what I'm going to do is simply make this a layer mask. And by doing such, I scroll down here on the bottom, and that's apply layer mask or add layer mask. And as I go up here, you can see that in my layer mask, everything is white. And so whatever is white is going to show up, and whatever I paint black or gray is going to detract from that layer mask. And so none of this white space really comes into play. It's what really is in this image that really matters. And so as I come over and zoom out, let's zoom back in. And taking a look at here, I'm going to grab a brush and I'm going to paint black. Because my layer mask is white, I'm going to paint black. So white it's on, black it's off. And I'm just going to simply just erase this element out of here. And I can use a soft edge brush just to blend this in. And that's all I really needed to do with that. Now, let's take a look at some other elements of this. If I wanted to see what was directly behind her, the B for brush, what a layer mask does then is lets you see what's behind her. Now you can see as I'm coloring in black, I'm just painting in black, and you're like, well, I don't see any black here. The black is over here on the layer mask. I'm scraping those elements away so you can see what's underneath there. Okay, so it's just kind of like a sheet of glass on a windshield. If you want to see what's underneath or what's inside the vehicle, you have to scrape that ice off of the windshield to see what's underneath, and so, or what's inside. The nice thing about a layer mask is you can use it to blend so many things. And if you screw up, it's not a big deal. I go in and I paint white back where I want that layer mask to show back up. Way better than, you know, just copying and pasting it and deleting stuff that you don't need, because if you screw up, you can't get that stuff back if you've just copied and pasted. But by using a layer mask in addition to a pasted layer, I can recover those elements that I might not have, you know, blended so well. So on here, let's make a big brush, flip-flop that. Say I just want to blend this better. Very soft edge, so to speak. So you don't see any definitive lines in here. I'm just gonna really go on the outside. I'm not even touching this hardly. And I'm just really blending this in. Now back to my shoulder. Do I really need that in there? No. Let's get a smaller brush. And we'll just gently fade that out. There. Now when I apply the background layer back on, boom. Perfect. So when I'm done, I can do a Command E because I really don't need this layer anymore. I just Command E. It blends those two modes together. And in case some people might be asking, what is this? This is a shoot-through umbrella that I typically use on most portraiture that I have. I do a lot of off-camera flash just to help me balance my light. So my light's here. A lot of people use like these big fancy strip boxes or soft boxes, and with, you know, the big battery packs and everything else. I just use a small SB30 flash that takes a 3-volt battery, shoot it through an umbrella, and usually get pretty decent results out of it. It's very lightweight, very compact, nice to use. From here, if you have any filters that you need to run, like Noiseware, Portraiture, the like, do any final adjustment layers for color balance or whatever, you can do that. Typically, I'll save this as a JPEG from here and push it back over. I did happen to save the original PSD file, which is in my bridge here. So here's the original PSD file in the end. And in this one, I had actually adjusted my wife's face. She wanted this pose, and so I just put a different layer mask of her face over the top of another face. So very easy to do. Same concept. You just blend that mode in using a pasted layer with a layer mask. So thanks for watching, and I hope you got something out of it. Thanks for watching.